This is a short video about solving problems using linear equations. It's based on the Junior Cert Project Maths course. There's two examples. In the first example, when 5 times a certain number is reduced by 4, the result is the same as adding 7 to 4 times the number. Find the number. Now to solve this equation, there's two steps. Step 1, we want to form or write down the equation. The starting point is always let the number be x, or let x equal the number. So we'll write this down. You could let it be any letter, but traditionally let x be the number. Now, let's read the question. It says 5 times a certain number. Now, we've called this number x. So 5 times that number would be 5x, 5 times x, is reduced by 4. Now, 4 smaller means you take away 4. If you reduce the number by 4, it means you subtract 4. So that means minus 4. Then it says the result is, that means it equals. So we write down an equal sign. And it says it's the same as adding 7 to 4 times a certain number, 4 times the number. Well, the number is x, so 4 times the number is 4x. And then if you add 7 to this, it's 4x plus 7. So that's step 1 done. We've formed the equation. As we can see, each part of the sentence matches up with a part of the equation. Now, step 2 now is we want to solve this equation. The rule, remember, is you do the same thing to both sides. So let me just separate there's a left-hand side and a right-hand side to this equation. So I'll call it the LHS and the RHS. Now, in the LHS, the left-hand side, we want the x's to be on that side, and we want the numbers to be on the other side. So we want to, at the end of the equation, we have x equals. So we'd like to move that minus 4, and we'd like to move that 4x on the right-hand side. So if we add 4 to both sides of the equation, that's a fair thing to do. It would still be equal. And if we subtract 4x from both sides of the equation, that's also fair. Now when we do this, we'll have the x terms on the left-hand side. So 5x minus 4x is x. Minus 4 plus 4 is 0. So x equals 4x minus 4x is 0. And plus 7 plus 4 is 11. So x equals 11. And that's the equation solved. So remember the two steps in solving this. Form the equation and solve the equation. Okay, the second example. Find an expression in terms of x for the perimeter of this triangle and give your answer in its simplest form. Well, again, there's two steps to this. Step 1, we want to form the equation. Now, it speaks about the perimeter of the rectangle. Now, I'm going to divide the page in two sides because there's two parts to this question. So what does it mean by the perimeter of the rectangle? Well, the perimeter is the distance around the outside. To get this, what we would do is we would sum up or add up all the sides. So the sum of the sides is the perimeter. So let's write what this is in terms of what's in the picture. So the perimeter, P, is going to be equal to all these sides added up. So let's start one place. I'm going to highlight it in green. So first side here is 2x plus 1. Then we go down the other side, we see it's plus x. Along the bottom, we have plus 2x plus 1 again. And then going up along the last side, we have plus x. So if we go the whole way around this rectangle, this is what it adds up to. So we want to simplify this or add the like terms. So we have a 2x, an x, a 2x, and an x. And we have the numbers 1 plus 1. So this gives us that p is equal to 6x plus 2. Okay, now let's consider the second part of this question. Now, in this question it says the perimeter of the rectangle is 44 centimeters. Write down an equation and solve it to find the value of x. But first we want to form this equation. Now we know the perimeter is 44, but from part 1 we know the perimeter p is also 6x plus 2, so 6x plus 2 equals 44. Now we want to solve this equation. Remember, we do the same to both sides. We have a left-hand side and a right-hand side. We like the x's on the left-hand side, numbers on the right. So if we subtract 2 from both sides, we'll achieve this. So this leaves us with 6x plus 2 minus 2 is 0, so they cancel out. And that equals 44 minus 2, which is 42. So 6x equals 42. But we don't want 6x, we want 1x. So we divide both sides by 6. And this gives us that x is equal to 42 divided by 6, which is 7. So that's the answer that works. And since it's in centimeters, the answer is 7 centimeters.